land of the free and the home of the brave on Veterans Day.
Marines Day or Veterans Day?
Veterans Day.
Oh, it's Veterans Day.
It's Veterans Day. So, in honor of Veterans Day, we're going to talk about how America is the villain in most situations.
Mm-hmm. The symbol is a bald llama, not a bald eagle.
Yeah, it's a bald llama.
It's a bald llama.
It's just a llama with male pattern baldness. I think I could probably find a picture of that on the internet.
Oh, that would be great. If anything, just put Zalen's face on it.
Shout outs to Zalen.
We're going to be talking about American freedom. We're talking.
It's just a weird concept, if I can jump in right there, that Americans are so hung up on free, and we're one of the least free developed countries in the world, realistically.
I think we need to, that doesn't get confusing. We need to go in. When America talks about freedom, they always compare it to the worst countries, as in America, but they don't compare it to all countries across the board. And the weird thing, we compare it to little things that we have over other countries, but we don't compare the whole thing.
Yeah.
So we have to air that out, the good and positive, because people think oh, well, why don't you move out? Hate that argument.
Yeah, because if it were feasible for me to move out, I'd probably live in Denmark,
I think,
maybe.
Yeah. If people were able to, there's a lot of good places to move out and everything else.
Yeah. At least there's better scenery in Denmark. You know what I'm saying? But we have the highest percentage of our adult population incarcerated. We house a quarter of the Earth's imprisoned populace.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Big chunk. And I don't even know where to go. The concepts, let's start off with the concepts. There's weird concepts we do that encourage not happiness, not freedom. It's a very condemning concept we do, but we talk about it like it's happiness. We celebrate Christopher Columbus.
Yeah.
Let's just air it out in the beginning. We celebrate Christopher Columbus. It's very weird. We celebrate America being taken over and the slaughter of other people. We celebrate these things.
Yes.
Right? And it's very weird and skewed to how we teach that in school. But we're clearly the bad guys, but we teach it in such a way.
We color it in a way that's we came over and something happened and all the natives just disappeared.
Mm-hmm. Knowing that all the other countries have about a good 1,000 years on us.
Yes.
Easily. And we come over here, not even 400 or 500 years old, and we just kind of kick
200
people out.
something.
Yeah, we just kind of kick people out. No, it's
Let's see.
Let's get to that thing. But we come in there and just kind of kick people out, right? And we talk about a history and we celebrate it, right? And not only that, we gloss over the fact of how heavily we own slaves. And people bring up this argument everybody owned slaves and they sold to sell slaves. And it's no, the way slave trade went, because of when people came over to America, slavery got revolutionized.
Yeah.
Slavery was not that same concept until people came to America.
It was a full-ass industry here.
Yes,
it wasn't
full-on
just
industry.
a part of the culture.
And it changed because I think parts of Europe then started having slaves like that. They didn't have slaves like that until later. You see what America's doing?
Yeah.
But
these guys have got it figured out.
Right? But we make it seem like we were oppressed under England. And this just blows my mind, right? And we talk about it in such a weird, Americans being oppressed, but we don't talk about, George Washington owned slaves. So, the whole red coat and everything else, nobody talks about, slaves were there. There's no movies where it has slaves in it.
All men are created equal, wink.
Mm-hmm.
But America's 244 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're really young still.
Right? Also, people don't, we talk about Christopher Columbus, discovered America. America's named after Amerigo Vespucci.
Yeah.
Right?
Some Spanish explorer.
Right? It's very weird where we pick and choose and grab these things.
Or Italian, maybe? I don't know.
Maybe, But it's very weird. These concepts are very weird on how we, just celebrate it. Mm-hmm. We just talk about it in these certain weird lights. And then we just make certain people villains, how we talked about World War II when we very much were for Hitler.
Oh, I don't think it's so much that you could call it for Hitler because we didn't want to get involved. Mm-hmm. I think we ended up sending some kind of aid to everybody, but initially we just didn't want to get involved until Japan fucked with us and we were all right, now we have to be involved. So, because England had been begging America for help for years.
but we don't talk about it like that. You know?
And they were just like, nah, have some food rations.
And we're supposed to be a melting pot, but we do this thing where we uplift. Use my shirt. These blonde hair, blue eyed beings, like how
even Japan does it.
Even Japan does. Like we uplift these people the same way Hitler uplifts white people and kind of put down other people. Mm-hmm. And like it's weird, right? Weird concepts. Like I was talking to a person and like they were upset talking about like how everything's so racially driven. Is this divide currently now in 2020, and they were just like, "Can we all just? Do y'all remember how we were all together and it was so much peace?" After the pain we went through after 9/11. And I was like, what are you talking about?
Say that was some Middle Eastern person.
Oh, that's what I was saying. I was like, every Middle Eastern American had to prepare for all the racism America put through. And then she completely changed up what she was talking about. But it's like, no. Your white perspective was we were all at peace and together. America was like, God bless America. We got to make it through this and we're together. I'm like, no. Everybody turned their hate towards brown people.
The focus of villainy that America normally has for other people of color all got focused on Middle Eastern people. That's all that happened.
Yes. Straight up.
Yep.
It became such an ongoing joke in the other media, but it was like true. They were like, you felt a certain way of a Middle Eastern person. If he had a turban on, had a beard, you was like, is that Osama? That's literally like the old Bin Laden over there.
And I was really young when that happened, so of course like I felt that way just because I was indoctrinated to feel that way. Mm-hmm. But like it was such a potent thing, you know.
We're indoctrinated to feel a lot of certain ways. Like, and me being black and like, I guess educated. I guess at this point I can say like me being black and educated, which is weird, and that's a whole weird concept. Like, the education's a whole other thing. Like, you know, like people be like, yeah, this person's like 17 years old. He's a doctor and blah blah blah. Over here in America, yeah, your thing don't mean shit. You got to get these doctorates, you know, like America knows better. It's like, it's got weird, bro. Okay.
But the weird thing is like being a nurse and like looking into other countries and what their requirements are, it would be very hard for me to go anywhere else because other countries don't consider America's education as good. So,
but it's almost like, but once again, we talk like we the top dogs.
Yeah.
Right, like our language and everything. It's so weird, and me being black, it's weird, right?
Financially, we're probably the top dogs. Like people talk about the deficit all the time. Yeah, people talk about deficits all the time, but the amount of money we have is way more than what we owe anybody.
That's very true.
We are absurdly wealthy, but all that floats to the top. Mm-hmm. You know.
Yeah, that's true.
And you have this weird paradigm where like you talk about the American dream and we're taught to idolize like money and success and cars and all that shit, and that is genuinely presented as an opportunity to so few people that it's no wonder that we're all fucking crazy. You know, we're taught like that's what you're supposed to strive to, and most of us will never really have a chance to strive to that realistically.
Going outside the country, when I went outside the country and like we asked people like, what do you view Americans and stuff like that. And so they started drawing, and it's weird, right? So it's like weird because like they view Americans, then they view Texans, and it's like it's crazy, right? Like Texans is like this like hyper form of American, right? And they just start drawing food and money. They drew like a $sign and burgers and pizza and hats, and it was just like it was hilarious, right? Like,
oh, that's all I wanted to be known as. You know
how much of a caricature we just are, like everybody view. But I was like, it wasn't wrong. Like me looking at it, like, oh, you're not really off.
Yeah.
From most people I know, right?
Yeah, and we like have the shittiest food. We have like good tasting food, but as far as like health goes, we have the shittiest.
What American food do we have? Like American, not like this.
No, like not originally, because like most of our food is not.
That's what I'm trying to think.
I don't know of any food that's like strictly American.
We have variants that we made our own, but what is like our food?
I don't think we have a food, but we have shittier versions of all the food that everyone else has. See, like Italy, they eat pasta all the fucking time, but they're all thin and shit, and it's because they use this grain of wheat that is the original grain of wheat before it was modified. Here, it was modified to have like 4 times the gluten that it's supposed to have so that it could feed more people.
Oof.
Yeah, that's the difference. We have a shittier version of everything.
We actually, and we have, this is how bad we have. We have the shittier versions of fast food. As in, if you go to South America, their McDonald's serve fried chicken.
Yeah.
it's different. Their food is different, and like I don't know if you ever seen like how like the regulations whenever they open a new franchise of McDonald's or Burger King to other place, and like they have to tell them like half the list like no. We don't do that here. Why do y'all keep trying?
Yeah.
And on like how you treat your work people, how you pay them, the food stuff they try and push in, like it's crazy. And if you just compare the looking of food off pictures, the best looking American McDonald's food to the best looking any McDonald's you want to choose, their food's way better.
Anyone I know who's ever been to Japan, it comes back and says, "Bro, whenever you go and order some shit off a fast food menu, that's how it looks." Like on the menu when you look at it, it looks that pretty when it comes out, and it's like, what the fuck?
Germany McDonald's used to or have beer, or maybe still does have beer.
Probably they're Germans, so they be drinking.
They do be drinking, and then it's also this weird thing. Like not only like it's this level of racism that not only we spread out. Did you know like other countries when they come in, they're told a certain thing about black people? Like it's an inferred thing they're told about like black people. Like you know.
I had no idea. No.
I've like me doing business, talking to them, like yeah. I always ask them, like wondering, like yeah, you're told a certain thing. So they have this like when I do a business deal with them, they're very shocked because I'm not what they're told.
Yeah.
You know.
What are they telling that you guys are just like?
Well, it's like all the negative and rap music and gunfire because it's the thing. Like most things when it comes to black stuff in news, it's negative. That's why it was like a thing like. Whenever there's a new disease, black people are typically the face of it. COVID, everything. Like it's always going to be a higher number, and they like always feel like, you know, like we're just disease-ridden monkeys.
Well,
like,
there's a lot of different factors for why diseases
and health
problems hit.
But I'm talking about the consistency promoted in the news that's pushed out.
They don't talk about the reasons for why like things like COVID hit, you know, people of color harder, and a lot of it has to do with money. A lot of it has to do with
but they don't
resources.
You see, and they don't talk about like you know, and then like America is so weird, right? Like just these things of how great American is. Just like we have the black community suffers, right? And they're talking about like, well, drugs are bad, but it's like it's a known thing. The government put the drugs in the black community. They destroyed the black community. They have a reason why the black community is impoverished. But they make it seem like black people need government assistance. Like, oh, you need our help, but it's like no, we would have been fine if you didn't corrupt us. You know, it's really it's all these weird concepts, and like when I tell y'all, like I'll bring up like Sammy Sosa and Lil Kim, you know, they're like lighter, right? And a lot of people do that, like bleaching the skin because like we're taught to hate our skin color. Like my dad made like because my dad was like super pro black everything, and he was like made sure like I didn't have that, but I was with I had a lot of friends that felt like that, and it's weird. Like you even said, like you guys would be like, that concept's so foreign to y'all.
I mean, there are things I don't like about me. Like I hate my freckles, but it's just that's the reality.
But do you want to be white?
I mean, I don't have a problem with anything else. Like physically, I could be thinner or whatever, but that's neither here or there. But like, I don't like my freckles. That's the only thing. But nonetheless, it's like that's the reality of the situation. So that's how I'm going to walk.
I've had people talk about like if you know different skin tones of like a black girl or whatever else, they'll like parents will treat their like the darker skinned kids harder. You know, because like no, it's gonna be harder for you, you're not gonna make it. You know, or
that sucks, dude. Or
like we have a hard time accepting Biden or Trump or pedophiles, but we easily accepted Bill Cosby. Like. We don't talk about.
I had a problem accepting none of it.
Right? Like just like okay, they're all bad. Or like R. Kelly is literally known he cannot read, but he went to jail, but not all the other people that was like in cohesion with him.
Yeah. It was just him.
It was just him. Or how like it's just so easy to accept like these little concepts. It's so easy to accept like who's the bad guy, who to blame, right?
Bro, my older sister. You mentioned the Trump being a pedophile thing, and it just made me think about how hard people will punch underwater, like stand by the point they're trying to make or whatever. Because I said something about him being a pedophile, and he was like, she said, well, what makes you think he's a pedophile? And I sent her like back to back to back, like 10 pictures of Trump hanging out with Epstein. He was like, well, just because they were hanging out doesn't mean nothing. I was like, you know who doesn't hang out with child traffickers? People who don't fuck kids.
Yeah.
That's who doesn't. You know? And it was just like, she was so unwilling to give up her point that I like presented it. There it is. you know.
But then there's other things we can like believe so much easier, and it's like it's weird. It's like we talk about all this stuff, and it's like the amount of racism that's always ongoing is crazy to me.
I was blind to a lot of it until you started like pointing out things to me.
I
started
just
hanging out, you know.
Like I tell people, like it's like people don't understand the concept, like why black people can't be racist, and I'll just be like, well, let's just take it to the base form, right? They'd be like, Jesse, you talk white. Right? You know, if I said, well, you talk black, I'm not saying you talk intelligent.
Yeah.
Right? And it's these things, right? There's these things that it's just normal talk that is setting the power of who's top.
Yeah. And eventually I started to understand what you were saying. I used to argue with it because of the way you put it is like black people can't be racist, and like literally they can, but I started to get the point after a while that like if they are, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Because the social narrative is the other way.
Disliking is the pain, the anger between each other come from a different way. Yeah. Right? Like if I dislike white people, it's a level of oppression that I pick up on even if I don't even know. Versus you may dislike black people because you're told to dislike black people. Yeah. Because you're scared. You know, it's all the other thing. Like black people can see white people throughout the time lynch people and get away with it, and we're told to forgive. Yeah. One black person does one bad thing. Oh, well, they're all just like that. And it's just like, what?
And that's where that all comes from, too, is like that instillment of like, when you're a young white person in the South, you have these stereotypes about black people, not because you have experience, it's just because that's what you're told by your parents. It's like passed along.
See, that's where the concept, and you see like, in the society of American society, this is racism, but it's not that we can't be, what's the word? You can't be, not biased, what is it? It's not racist, it's another word where you can be towards another person, like, you know.
Prejudice?
You can be prejudiced. Everybody can be prejudiced, but racism comes with a power thing. And that's the difference on the word. They're not interchangeable like that. Yeah. Right? Like society has said that white people are better in America and black people aren't as good. Yeah. That's why black people have to yell out, "Oh, I'm black, I'm proud, I'm proud," and all this other stuff. Everybody's, you know, because it's just like we don't talk about the ongoing white on white crime. Yeah. Which is the top crime, but we talk about black on black crime.
Dude, I don't think we can consider it crime because we've just been warlike since the
But that's what I'm saying. White on white crime is just called crime.
Yeah.
But black on black crime is like this, oh, look how terrible it is. Yeah. It's like, what? It's so inherent, like, it's so racist that when we say Black Lives Matter, people got offended. Yeah. Right?
As where, like, before there was even an organization for that and people could start saying, oh, it's communist and whatever. It might be. I don't know. I don't know enough about it. But when the initial sentiment was said, the only correct response is, yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
That was the correct response. But everybody like, no, well, all of them. And it's like,
of course they do.
Of course, like nobody was saying it, but people were offended. And nobody was seeing that's how racist America still is. That is American culture, right? Yeah. You know? Yes. And it's really wild to me on these things. And like people talk about like the things people got mad at Trump for, and then they'd be like, well, Obama, they were like, Trump deals with just as much as Obama. And it's like, no, it's not the same way. Obama walked out in a tan suit and Fox News tore him a new one. Yeah. Trump says some dumb shit and he warrants it. Obama didn't warrant half of the insults that came his way.
Like I thought with the Trump thing initially, whenever they were campaigning for the first time in 2016, whenever he made fun of that handicap guy, like I thought that was it. I was like, surely no one's going to stand behind this dude. How naive I was.
No, I don't think nobody knew that he knew, like, his main demographic, which is the main and most powerful demographic, are racist people. Yeah. Right? Like hardcore
racist white people that might not even realize they're racist. Because they're too in their little bubble to even, like, accept the perspective of someone else.
Yeah. Yeah. Right? And that was his main driving force. And people don't see that, right? That's why it's like, oh, Trump lost popular vote. Well, Electoral College. So Trump's your president. Accept it. Electoral College decided Biden. We're still counting votes. But Electoral College, we're done.
He decided it.
Why are we recounting? You know, like what is this happening? You know,
I don't know, bruh.
And you can go like it's just like one American thing, and it's just like how many communities like you can look up in history, how many throughout like the last 100 years got bombed or destroyed, pillaged, if you will. Mm-hmm. Black communities, minority communities,
and what's bad is like that doesn't get talked about as much as like our external affairs, even though our external affairs usually pretty fucked up.
Yeah,
because like as far as I'm concerned, the last war that was justified was World War II. That's the last one. Yeah, that's one we should have been involved with. Mm-hmm. Most of the time, I'm pretty opposed to war. Like I'm all with the Switzerland model. Let's be armed and neutral.
Well, the Cold War was like it was handled well, right?
As far as we know.
Okay, as far as we know,
a lot of it's still very secretive.
That's very true. That's very true. But you know, it could have went next level, right?
Yep, it could have.
It could have. But like you know, when we talking about the war and stuff like that, it's just like. A lot of like Civil War, it was kind of like they were like, well, we want to keep our slaves, and other people was like, how about we settle on 2/3 a person, 3/5 a person, 2/5 a person? No, that's not good enough. What? They can't be half a person.
No,
we can't settle on that. And
livestock, bruv.
And then everybody's like, well. They really fought over state rights. State rights to own slaves.
Yeah, that was it. That was the whole thing. Like I hate that argument.
That grasping concept, and everybody's just like, no,
they never know what to say. Mm-hmm. Like when you say states' rights to what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was like,
textiles.
Get the fuck taxes.
Out of here. Get the
They're
fuck
trying to tax our slaves. It's so dumb. And then people try to bring up, well, like other countries had slaves. Like actually, the last one that had slaves like that was like England, and they ended it 30 years before us.
Yeah.
So technically,
and if England's getting off of some crooked shit before you are, it's pretty fucked up, dude.
Yeah,
because England, that's a country with a fucked up ass history.
It is. Mm-hmm. It is.
They imperialized most of the world.
Yeah, it's really and like it's just like American culture, and then like how like in school we're not taught about Africa, and also I hate it. I hate it. I'll look at this and I'll say it. When we talk about places, people will name off states. People will name off countries. Well, you know, COVID's going on in England. It's going on in France. It's going on in Africa. It's going on in China. No. Don't say Africa like it's not a whole damn continent.
Yeah, you got onto me on here for that before.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I said Scandinavia, which is also a whole ass fucking thing.
Africa.
Yeah.
No. Nobody ever says just all of Asia. They be naming off places. Nobody says all of Europe. They be naming places.
I know, but I said Scandinavia, which is a collection of countries.
The only continent you can say Great Britain. That would look cool. The only continent you can say is Australia and Antarctica. Those are the only two continents I'll let you slide by saying and naming off places. But just saying all of Africa is so racist. Like people don't know.
Yeah, because I mean, I just wasn't thinking about it in that way. I wasn't diving deep into thought, you know.
You know what? Real quick, the show. Let's see, JD passes the show. How well he knows. Let's see. Did the American system teach you well? Name 10 African countries.
All right, we're gonna go with Egypt.
All right, cheap.
Nairobi.
Cheap. Okay, questionable.
Questionable.
Keep going. I'm not gonna.
Madagascar.
Okay.
Kenya? Is that one?
Yeah.
Okay. I might be out.
Yo, you can't make it to 5?
Dude, I don't know geography very well.
Madagascar's an island, and I let that slide.
Bro,
there's 54 countries in Africa.
Bro, east of or south and to the east of where England and Scotland and Ireland are, I don't know any of that shit.
I shouldn't even gave you Egypt. That was a free space.
Yeah, because it debatable because it's so far north. Some people say
it's just everybody knows Egypt. That's the only place in Africa people know.
Yeah.
Jeez, I'll help them out. South Africa, Central Africa, Nigeria, Niger, Liberia. There you go.
Is Lebanon there? No.
Yes. Sudan.
Okay. I knew a lot of those. Just I'm bad whenever you put me on
Tasmania.
The spot. Yeah, that's where the Tasmanian Devil's from.
Mm-hmm. But it shows how bad. But I bet if I gave him Europe, boy, he'd be naming them.
Not really. I'm not. Like I said,
You can't name 10 Europe countries. How bad is the school system in America? Please tell me.
I went to a private school.
Still part of the school system.
You know what our geography course probably was? God made a bunch of countries. That was probably our curriculum for that.
Oh! You went to college. You went to American colleges. You don't know me. You didn't have History 1?
Yeah, but I didn't pay attention. That's like a low effort class for me. I just needed a C in it.
You know how hard people is to come over here? What they have to learn?
I know. No, I didn't say it was fair. It's not fair. But when I got into college, I was focused on like the shit I would need specifically for what I was trying to do.
I mean, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, the school system's like, it's crazy, right? Like,
super fucked up.
Credit is only a U.S. thing, and we're not taught about it.
Like the financial credit system?
Yeah. Did you not know that? Mm-mm. Yeah. You think they got credit?
I thought they had some kind of system for trustworthiness with your finances.
Oh, you think financially other countries trust America?
No. I was saying like on an individual basis. Like if you were in England, they would have some kind of system to rate you on your ability to pay your debts on time and things like that. Is that not what you're talking about?
That's the rate you. No, it's not a.
Then what are you talking about with credit?
No, what you're saying, that's not a thing. I don't think.
That's what credit is in America.
Yeah,
like
it only applies in America.
Okay, I'm just saying. I figured there would be something like that everywhere.
Yeah, it's a different system that only.
So in England, you just go up and you're like, I want this here flat. It's Tuesday in it, and they like, here's your flat, bro.
That was good.
Stop looking at me, Willie.
that was good. Yeah, it's a little bit different. A credit system here this is what our money's backed on, is credit.
Oh.
Yeah.
Certainly not backed on metal anymore.
But we're not taught that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not, which is weird. Like, America's so great, we can't even teach in basic school how to financially, take care of yourself. Mm-hmm. Everybody just gets in debt. Like, we teach people to get in this, the American dream, just get in debt, It's weird. And then the amount of trial trafficking, it's weird, right?
We're going to get into the fact that we kind of went into Iraq and Afghanistan on no evidence whatsoever, and we're still over there.
First off, George Bush says we believe Afghanistan has weapons of mass destruction.
First of all, that was Iraq.
Oh, is that what they said?
Yeah.
Iraq?
Yeah, Iraq was that.
Like anybody knows the difference. If I put up a map, could you point out the difference?
But still, like, they used the 9/11 thing as justification for that, right? Mm-hmm. And then immediately, this report came out. Like, we think this was done by like some not Palestinian people. Can't remember. It was some other country over there, and it was financed by Saudi princes and shit. And they're like, well, that means we're invading Iraq and Afghanistan, right? It's like, no. It's like, yeah, we're doing that.
Yeah,
that's what we're doing right now.
Everybody believed it.
They're gonna get liberated as fuck.
Do you remember people were out searching for Bin Laden and they had the wanted posters?
Yeah, dude.
And Bush they already sent Bin Laden's family, flown them out. I'm like, oh man, this shit's getting real for y'all. Y'all be safe.
Osama bin Laden, more like Osama bin hiding.
The encouragement of racism is so sad at how great of America is. And it's a laughing stock. Like, America is like, I
think America has a lot of promise.
That's true.
It has a lot of promise to be something fantastic.
It does have a lot of promise.
But it's not going to be there until, like, everyone gets a fair shake.
That's just it. People, like... It's really weird, like, how, like, we talk, like, it's just because America's taught up to be this great, and it's, like, it's this weird pride you're kind of given, but it's kind of a weird falsehood pride.
It's a conversation or an argument I've had with people a lot, because, like, I have no national pride whatsoever, and people get super offended when you tell them that. But, like, it doesn't mean anything to me. I didn't have to, like, struggle and fight to get here. I was just born here. It just happened.
You didn't pledge your allegiance?
I mean, when I was a kid, yeah, you do it because everyone else is doing it, but, like, I don't give a shit about that. Like, I would bounce from this bitch in a hurry if Russia landed.
For me, being black which I have to state that because I don't think people understand just how deep ingrained oppression and racism is.
Yeah.
It's weird, right? Like, I can say now, I can still say that I like capitalism and I love America. Mm-hmm. But is me saying that is because it's still ingrained in me and I'm still ignorant to what I'm actually going through and what my people are going through. Mm-hmm. You know, like, so is that really, like, is this really the core me saying it, or is this still the brainwash me saying and feeling that? Yeah. So it's really weird because I think about that. It's just like, I can say I like capitalism despite knowing all these things. Mm-hmm. You know? And it's weird. That's also like the thing when people were like, well, you shouldn't, everybody was putting the thing, well, if you vote George Bush, you don't know how oppressed you are. But the way I saw it is, voting for a 70-year-old white man on both sides is just as bad. And I kept trying to tell people that. It's just like, no, they're just both as bad. Mm-hmm. You're like, yeah, we can make the argument Biden's better than Trump, or you can make vice versa. Whatever.
They're both shit wall to wall.
I'm not going to choose the lesser two evils because that's what our voting system's been on.
I mean, I'm not choosing the lesser two evils. I'm not going to vote for anyone unless I can stand behind them.
And it's just really weird to me because, like, you go to these other countries, you look at these other countries, right? They have leaders that look like them. Mm-hmm. But me and having black people been in America just as long as white people, we're still striving to have people look like us. Mm-hmm. And it's
so everyone's making a big deal about Kamala.
Yeah, and just like when they did with Obama. So, like, mm-hmm. I keep thinking, like, how far behind are we? And have I just reached a certain intelligence? I've now reached past the grain on a certain level of intelligence. Now I can understand what people like Kanye or Killer Mike says, or MLK or Malcolm X. Because there's some leaders, they start talking, they're way above you. And I realized that's when I rub people the wrong way. I start talking, and I was like, oh, they haven't caught up yet. Just like I was saying, like, black people can't be racist. You ain't caught up yet.
Yeah.
Nothing against you. It's just, once you catch, you're like, oh.
So it means very little when the flow of society isn't on your side.
Right? And like when I was explaining racism to people and everybody was mad at me, and then the George Floyd thing happened and people started apologizing to me. But it's like they were so hung on to this American pride that I offended them.
No, national pride is dangerous and irresponsible, I think.
But it's weird when you hang on to this little pride. Like, I can literally say, like, hey, man, I'm scared of white people. I'm dealing with this. I go to jail. I've been in jail for multiple times, and anybody that knows me knows I shouldn't be going to jail.
Yeah.
But my black ass just be going to jail getting beat up by cops. Mm-hmm. And then people got offended.
Meanwhile, my ass has done some really dumb shit that I should have gone to jail for, gotten caught by cops, and didn't go to jail. Yeah. So it's so weird, Mm-hmm. But like, people like those type of people like you or whatever else, they may go to jail one time or not at all, and they'll be like, I worked hard for everything I had, and blah blah blah. I don't got privilege, and you're missing the point. Yeah.
I mean,
no one's saying no one works hard.
Yeah. It is like, I'm not even saying like I had a bad life. I think I've been very blessed, all things considering. Mm-hmm. One main reason is I'm still very much alive.
Yes.
Right? Like, American culture is so weird. Like, I can't move anywhere in America without knowing the area. And I get it, like, you have to know the people there. But it's like, me moving, if I move to a lesser province area, it's safer for me. If I move to a higher quality area, like when I lived into a spot in northern, eastern Chicago, everybody was worried. There Goes the Neighborhood literally applied to me, and they were scared. And everybody, they threatened me, and they were just checking on me, and they watched me. And they made it known, like, since you arrived, we've been watching you. Mm-hmm. You look like the others that cause problems. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't. If I looked like you, they would not have said that to you. They'd be like, "Who? Come on, neighbor. Come on over here."
The only stereotype I ever get is like, "I bet you smoke weed, don't you?" It's like, "No, I don't, man."
Should I get that and then some?
Yeah, that's all I've got to deal with. I've never had to deal with any shit like that before,
Which is crazy. Like, I can be cleaned up, haircut, and everything, and people still assume I smoke weed. Right? I was like, why do y'all like? It's just like because I'm black, like I'm naturally.
It's the drugs of the blacks.
Yeah. Or like, the awkward American conversations, like, oh, there's a black guy. Let me put on my one Boosie song I got. No, bro, you don't got to change music for me.
So like, what's that fucking meme? Is like when a white person puts on some rap from the early 2000s, then they just be smiling at you.
Oh my god. Oh my god, if it's not like Boosie because it's South, then it's Bone Thugs and Harmony. Without
I was listening
a doubt.
to Boosie the other day and it took me back.
Oh, did it?
Took me way back, man.
People,
Everybody like zoom, 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 zoom,
zoom. But it's the whole like, I don't know. The American thing is it's very weird because like, so LGBT is kind of a white thing now, but the whole concept was started by a black trans person.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about it.
I mean, Chappelle said that in one of his stand-ups.
Yeah.
He was like, everyone's getting behind the LGBT thing because white people want to do it.
Yeah, the same thing with Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
But it's like it's just these things, right? And people don't. And here's the thing: when it comes to America, is like the amount of racist America is. We can't keep denying it, right? Like racism is American culture and always has been.
Just like any other problem, unless you're willing to talk about it openly and really work towards fixing it, then it's not ever going to go anywhere.
But like, you know how much a struggle is, like talking about it openly. Like that's my whole shtick, and getting bashed for it by people. And when I say get bashed, not just the typical meth head gets on Facebook and gets mad at me. I'm talking about like people like scholars, like higher up people, older people get mad. Right? It makes them feel uncomfortable, especially liberals. Liberals are the worst about it. I could probably have a better conversation with a conservative than I can with a liberal. The liberals already feel like, well, clearly I'm not racist. I voted for Obama. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah. Liberals are hard to talk to because those are the people with like the fucking messiah complexes. Like
white saviors
smelling their own farts like I'm so holy, I'm
so good, I care about you Negroes. Right? I go so far and I tell people it's just like I don't go by the term African American. I actually now I get kind of offended about it because I was like, even though that term was created by a black person in the 80s, and I was like, you can't tell me you can't prove it. I can't prove it. I don't know how to prove that I'm from Africa.
Yeah.
Why are you just throwing this label on me?
And I've only heard European Americans like 3 times in my whole life. That's it.
That's what. Once again, how vague is it? I'm African American. What part, nigga?
But you got Irish Americans. You got freaking British Americans. Like you got all that shit. Canadian Americans.
You right. But you don't hear South African Americans. You don't hear Niger Americans. You don't hear that. Maybe West African Americans, but not really. You don't hear those things.
Yeah.
Right. The lack of education that is taught to what it could easily be taught. Like it's weird going to school and me realizing I'm smarter than my teacher, and I've kind of felt like that.
Yeah.
Right. Like there's some teachers like math. Yeah. History teachers. I'm like, boy, this dude is dumb as hell.
Probably does Civil War reenactments on the weekend.
And being taught it, and then like I remember one time I got mad at school. I was just like, bro, I'm tired of learning the Civil War. I'm tired. Teach. I'm tired, bro. I get it. We was owned, and now we free.
Quote unquote. Quote unquote free.
Right? Like I'm tired of it, bro. Like, and they keep teaching it. And it's like, why aren't we head in education? There's no reason. You know?
We have all the money. There's no reason we're not.
There's no reason. And that's why I'm like, maybe because it's capitalism. Maybe because capitalism has to have a large, poor community.
I don't know. It would seem to me like it would help everybody in a capitalistic system if everyone did well. But we don't have like a real version of capitalism.
Well, see, and that's the thing where I think about it is like, so everybody likes to say like MLK hated capitalism and nobody talks about it. So much so,
he was socialist.
People think they can hate Black Lives Matter but love MLK.
Yeah. Well, most Americans have a very like whitewashed version of MLK.
They whitewashed a person that was alive like 50 to 60 years ago.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. It's like you saw all these people posting shit like they protested, they chanted, and didn't tear anything up. It's like, no, man.
No, bro. I hate that because how long did Black Lives Matter go and nothing happened?
Yeah.
And then some instances happened because they get fed up with it. And I tell people, like, they're fed up.
Yeah.
They're upset.
They're not being heard.
Because being filmed doesn't stop a person from being murdered.
Yeah.
So much so that everybody that watched it was scared of also being arrested.
Yeah.
What?
That's why my mom was like, all those people standing around watching that guy get killed, filming them on their phones. Why didn't they stop those cops? Like, what are you supposed to do in that situation?
I'm
supposed to fucking knee the cop in the face? Is that what you're supposed to do?
and get shot.
Yeah.
I say, and which would have started right.
Yeah.
I would have said, like, it's going to talk me up, really. The only type of person that would have stopped something is a type of person like me. And that's pushing because I'm one of the people that talk about these things, and I don't get scared from that uncomfortable feeling of hearing the truth. Mm-hmm. So me seeing that, I could have been triggered and did something because, like, I've been openly having the racial conversation. So much so, people said, Jesse, it's not that bad. Racism consuming your life, and it's not that bad for you. White people told me this. Literally told me this beginning of this year. And people were telling me, because, I was making a lot of racial posts, and people were like, you need to calm down. It's taking over and everything else. You're really troubled. You need to seek help. Like, they're really trying to talk it down like, yo, it's in your head. Then the George Floyd thing, and like I said, like I got a lot of apologies. And then the George Floyd thing happened. Mm-hmm. I'm like, it's just like, it's not in my head.
And that shows how fucked up the whole law system is too. Because like, I was just in my head thinking about like what could have been done in that situation while people were standing around.
No, more people would have died. No, like because like in a scenario somebody run at like.
Yeah, but I was just thinking like that's the reason we have the Second Amendment. Someone should have gone and like blown that fucking cop's head off.
Then you would have went to jail.
Yeah, but because the law contradicts the law.
Yeah, right. You would have went to prison, life, or got the death penalty, which is crazy, right? Like, and you did the Second Amendment thing, and it's like everybody like, no, that wouldn't have happened because that was a bad cop, and it's just like a cop literally went into somebody's apartment, killed them, and got 10 years.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
That's the purpose of the Second Amendment. Mm-hmm. They are representative of the government. The government's overstepping their bounds on that man's freedom. Mm-hmm. That was the correct time to fucking let bullets fly, bro.
People, and this is the thing, like I made a status, and I guess I should have corrected it more. Is like I never saw nobody that didn't think police should be held to a higher standard, and I should have said that. And I should have said the second part is I've just never seen anybody find a situation where they felt that standard should be upheld.
Yeah. Oh man. That's the point to end on right there.
Bro. That's what you're
That's the point to end on.
That was the quote.
That's the quote. I'm gonna leave it at that. Right, let's do these promos and send her home.
All right.
All right, sign me up, bud.
Ooh. All right. Oh, no, I'm not going to go there because that was going to be hella racial. So I'll do the flip side.
Yeah, I can.
All right. I almost went somewhere real bad.
You don't have to make it easy, but don't make it impossible.
No, I'll tell you what it'll do. All right. You're traveling with, what's his name? Eric Leifson. And you're heading to America.
Okay.
Right?
That we don't know is there yet. Right?
You're not traveling with him. You're traveling against him to beat him to the new place over.
Okay.
And y'all are two boats, and you're cutting a promo of when y'all get there, you're going to settle things on a new land of New Vinland.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the Viking.
You and Eric Leifson are racing there, and you see him, and you're all going to talk about...
Leif Erikson,
yes.
Yeah.
Or Hingagarden.
Yeah. A hinga-dinga-durgan. All right, Leif. It's just you and me headed to this new world. It's just you and me. Mano y mano. And I'll tell you what. In the proud Viking tradition, we're going to fight it out man to man. Only one of us, whenever we get there, is going to live on that land. The other one will get an honorable death. They'll go into the halls of the Vasir. They'll dine with Odin. But it ain't gonna be me. I'm gonna give you a warrior's death. See you in 5 days.
Ooh, very Cena-esque.
All right. Since you called on my heritage a little bit, for that I'm gonna call on your heritage.
All right.
And I'm going to. All right. Let's see. Early America.
Okay.
You're a slave on a plantation.
Okay.
You've just killed the singular slave driver that was watching you work, stolen his shotgun, and now you have the other ones at gunpoint.
Oh, I feel like I got to do this for the niggas. Oh, okay.
And this is your speech that your promo that you're cutting on the plantation owner.
To click clack. Times is changing. You've been putting me and my people under too many rules. I'ma do you a favor. I'ma send you to your Jesus. Send you to your maker. See here, this land? This our land now. Boy, we don't need to go through no underground railroad. Nah, we like it above here. Everybody here is with me. And you can run, but you can't hide. I'ma find you, and I'ma get you. And when I get you, just know that my life matters.
Oof. I felt the terror, bro. I was like looking at you, trying to put myself in the place of that person receiving it. I felt it. I felt the terror. All right. We'll see you guys next week. Peace out.
Peace.